everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Iona Athletics Podcast, your source for the latest news surrounding the Iona Gaels. I'm your host, Mike Phillips. We've got a good show for you this week. I actually got the chance to speak earlier this week to goalkeeper Elise Darcy from the women's lacrosse program. We'll check out that interview in just a bit, and she did make some news this week, so we'll keep an eye on that. Make sure you lock in until the end of the podcast for the upcoming schedule on Iona Athletics. Another busy week this week, but make sure you stick around for that, and we will begin with our look back at the week that was, starting right now. We have some award winners in the basketball program this week. E.J. Crawford was named the Men's Basketball MAC Player of the Week. Iona Women's Basketball actually swept the weekly awards. Juana Camille was named the MAC Player of the Week, while Paula Weeks was named the Rookie of the Week in the MAC. So 3 Gaels taking home some hardware on the hardwood. Tuesday, February 11th, the MAC also announced its baseball preseason coaches poll and the preseason team. Senior pitcher Steven Hansen was named a preseason All-MAC team honoree. The Gaels were voted 9th in the preseason coaches poll, so that's what you need to know about the baseball team. Juana Camille also picked up some more hardware last week, named the MBWA Player of the Week, so congrats again to Juana Camille. Women's basketball also played on Tuesday, but did not go too well for them. Fell at home to Monmouth 56-50. Juana Camille was the key figure in that game for Iona, 18 points in the defeat. Wednesday, February 12th, the MAC announced the swimming and diving all-academic team. Iona had a league-high 29 student-athletes honored. The swimming program also started their 4-day journey at the MAC Championships up in Buffalo, and we will fill you on that in just a bit because we'll save everything for Saturday with that. We'll go ahead to Friday, February 14th. Iona wins its rivalry matchup against Manhattan, 80-57, absolutely dismantling the Jazzers at the Heinz Athletic Center. Tawana Agee, 16 points, just 22 minutes. That is the definition of efficiency. E.J. Crawford nets 21 points. Gaels pick up their third straight win in convincing fashion. Iona baseball also opens their season, lose to the College of Charleston 5-4. Jake Liberatore finished 3 for 5, 2 runs scored, 1 run batted in, and a homer. So busy day at the plate for Jake Liberatore. Drew Helmstetter, in 2 2/3 innings relief, allowed just 1 hit for the Gaels in that one. Now we'll get to Saturday the 15th, and we will start out with the swimming program, which obviously had a very, very interesting run at the MAC Championships from February 12th to February 16th. Nick Cavatero was named the MAC Women's Co-Coach of the Year. That's awesome for him. The women's team placed second overall, its highest placement ever in the MAC Championship, set multiple school records. Iona set the school record on the 200-yard medley relay event. The 200-yard freestyle relay quarter set a new school record and won the gold medal. Isabel Pabon, who was on this podcast back in the beginning of the swimming season, set a school record in the 200-yard butterfly and earned a silver medal in the event. She also set a new school record in the 400-yard individual medley. And a quartet in the 400-yard freestyle posted a new team record and a spot to qualify the National Invitational. So congratulations to them. The men's team finished 4th at the MAC Championships. Iona set a school record in the 200-yard medley. Jackson Madonia school record in the 400-yard individual medley. Connor Mullen, gold medal in the 200-meter butterfly. And James Whaley set a new record in the 200 butterfly in preliminary. So congrats to all of them on those accomplishments. Back to the other teams from Saturday. We go to women's basketball, and they had a big effort, went on the road, top Fairfield, 59-52. Their first win at Alumni Hall since 2016. Juana Camille paced the Gaels with 19 points and 3 steals. Iona now 6-4 on the road this season. Good job for the women's team there. Track and field, up at the David Henry Valentine Invitational in Boston over 2 days. Wrapped up their week there. Some highlight performances to note. Jack O'Leary placed 19th in the 3,000-meter event with the fastest time in the MAC this year. And Grace Sparrow took part in the 1,000-meter, faced 24th in the race, which was the best among teams representing the MAC, so congrats to those two. Iona baseball wrapped up its opening weekend series with 2 more losses. Maryland beats Iona 8-2. Vicente Mendoza and Tyler Cannon each had 2 hits in that game. Charleston picked up another win over Iona, beat them 12-1. The lone run from Iona was a home run by Ryan Casey. All right, on Sunday, February 16th, last day of the recap here, Iona Golf wrapped up the Invitational at Savannah Harbor, their first event of the spring calendar. The Gaels finished 16th of all the teams there. Oisin Devereaux tied for 6th on the individual leaderboard, so a good performance from him. Iona Lacrosse, as we're just going to talk about today, won their first game of the season at home against New Hampshire, the first win at Mazzella Field in 2 years. First win for head coach Lauren Kahn. And Elise Darcy, our guest today, started in goal, 14 saves, a save percentage of 63.6%. And finally, men's basketball came from behind, down double digits at the half, rallied to beat Marist 78-70. Isaiah Washington had a team-high 21 points in the game. Andrei Rastanovich had a career-high 13 off the bench. That is the fourth straight victory for the Gaels, who are now back to 500 in MAC play and making it climb up the standings. Will they keep their winning streak going? We'll find out where they're heading this week in the recap portion. But up next, our interview with Elise Darcy right after this. All right, joining me on the phone today is a member of the Iona lacrosse program, one of the team's vocal leaders, Elise Darcy. Elise, welcome to the podcast, and how are you today?
I'm doing well. Happy to be on it, so thank you.
All right, so let's start out with a little bit of the origin story here. So why did you choose to come to Iona?
You know, I came for my visit. I met the team, and I just loved the team chemistry. I think this is one of the closest teams I've ever been a part of through youth, high school, everything. And I just really wanted to be on a team that was more like a family than anything, and that's kind of what I ended up getting. So.
Yeah, definitely a great thing. And you're one of the goalkeepers on this team. So obviously, most people think of lacrosse and think of the attackers and the defenders. So what's the most interesting aspect of being the goalie? So what drew you to that position?
I think, like, being a goalie, obviously, like, everybody thinks you're a little crazy, right? You know, just jump in there for the fun of it in a lot of people's minds. But, you know, I enjoy being kind of like the more of the leader on defense. It's my job to make sure everybody knows what's going on around them. I see more of the field than anybody else does. And, you know, goalies can be a big change. Like, you make a great save, you can turn the whole game around. So I kind of like that weight falls on my shoulders in a way.
Yeah, it does make some sense. And obviously, you were here last year. We had a coaching change with the lacrosse program this year. So, like, what's that transition been like from the player's perspective, from your perspective, seeing Coach Mason go and Coach Kahn come in?
We absolutely love Coach Kahn. I think it's just like kind of a reset button for the whole program. It's a really good, like, refresh, get back into it, and have some new ideas, have kind of a new perspective and a new leadership. We've had a shift in our assistant coaches as well, and them coming in. They've just been really helpful to Lauren, and they've definitely improved our program a lot. Like, it's great to see like how into it they are, and they're always like so excited to be at practice with us. It's awesome.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Coach Kahn earlier this year, and I know she bring a whole new energy to this program. Somebody who's been working with her like on a daily basis. So, what's your early impressions of Coach Kahn from the offseason prep and your experience in the first game of the year?
I just have so much fun with her. She's so positive, and she takes the time to warm up the goalies every day, so we get a little bit of one-on-one time with her every day. She just really like connects with all of us, and it's amazing. Like, every time there's like a criticism, there's also like a high point in there too. So you never really feel like you're being like beaten down. You really get both sides. So it's pretty great. Like, and she's just done a lot. She makes you want to play well for her. So.
Yeah, that's true. And you on the team specifically are in a position because you're one of the goalkeepers here, and you're one of the group who's got to help fill the shoes of Sharon McCaffrey, who graduated last year as the all-time leader in saves for Iona. So, what does that mean for you, for the goalies, to have to try and fill her shoes?
You know, Shannon is such an amazing player. It's hard without her here. Like, she always pushed me because just watching her play, like, I wanted to be that good and you know, play as well as she does. And I think I actually have kind of taken on a lot of her playing style. I've noticed like little things I do, and I'm like, oh, that's something Shannon does. And I'm just really trying to build off of what she started in the past 4 years and what I've been watching for the past two, and just kind of make it my own.
Indeed, and you're also one of the vocal leaders on this team. So, what do you feel like you can do on the practice field in the locker room specifically help this team get going in that right direction?
We have morning practice now, and there's been a few days where it does start out a little slow. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. People are waking up at, 5:50, 6 a.m. to get into the locker room, get ready for lifts and things like that. And when it does start out slow, you just got to keep everybody moving. You have to recognize when we're just going through the motions and when we're not. And that's something we've been talking about a lot lately, just focusing on really getting every rep and getting the most out of our time together.
Yeah, so you've been here for a while, and last year was a tough year for the program. What's the big difference you noticed this year as opposed to your experience with the team last year?
Well, like I said before, the optimism on the team is so high this year. Like we're not looking to do what we did last year, and we can only go up, right? So that's kind of our big thing right now is we love our hashtag starting from the bottom. That's what we're going to go with this year, and can only go up. So we're looking to build, and I think we've already started to. Like I think there's been like little improvements all over the field that have been noticed, and they're definitely going to help us moving forward this season.
Yeah, and Sunday is your first home game of the year. Got a couple of home games this month. It's been a while since you guys have had a home win, but so how important is the team to go out there and try and reestablish that home field advantage in front of the Maroon Gold faithful Mazzella this year?
I mean, we're definitely excited. Like the best part about being home is getting to play our warm-up playlist, which Kate and Brisbane, one of our attackers, she puts it together, and that's been a huge thing this year. Like music, pump up. We in the shower after practice always have the speaker going. Like in the locker room before practice, always have the speaker going. So we're excited to be able to play our music on our home field and get going.
Yeah, and it'd be nice also to have the home fans behind you as well. I mean, I've been there for some lacrosse games. Like they get into these games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our parents are a huge support, and it's so fun to have them there. Like, I think a lot of parents will be here for opening weekend, and we also have a game on that following Wednesday, so I think a few are going to stick around for that. So it'll be fun just to have parents from all over the place coming in and people we haven't seen since, some of them we haven't seen since last year, some of them not since the fall. So it'll be fun just to have everybody around.
All right, Elise, thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Best of luck this season.
Thank you very much. Good day.
All right, welcome back inside the Iona Athletics podcast studio. You just listened to our interview with Elise Darcy of the lacrosse program. I want to thank her again for calling in this week. For more of our interview with Elise Darcy, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/ICGales.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you.
All right, we are back. It's time to look ahead to the upcoming week in Iona Athletics as we move ahead in the month of February. Let's go ahead to Wednesday, February 19th. Elise Darcy and the women's lacrosse program will be in action. They will be on the road. They will be taking on Army. Men's basketball also on the road, taking on the Saints of Siena up in Albany. And women's water polo also on the road. They will be taking on Princeton. Let's go ahead to Thursday, February 20th. Women's basketball is back home. They will be taking on the Siena Saints at 7 at the Heinz Athletic Center. Again, women's basketball home for one of the last few times this season, taking on Siena at 7 at the Heinz Athletic Center. We'll go ahead to Friday, February 21st. The baseball team on the road for the weekend. They play the first of their series at New Mexico State. Softball into action for the first time this year. They're taking on the UMBC Retrievers in 2020 Ripley's Chanticleer Showdown in Conway, South Carolina. That's game 1 of the day. Game 2 for them will be taking on Seton Hall down in Conway, South Carolina. Men's basketball at home on Friday the 21st. They're taking on Ryder at 7 at the Heinz Athletic Center. And this is also the game where the 40th anniversary celebration of the win for Iona at MSG over Louisville will be taking place at halftime of this game. If you want to come take part of that, go to our website, www.icgales.com for more information. Let's go ahead to Saturday, February 22nd. Busy day all around. Women's water polo playing a pair of games at the Courtney Fisher Invite in Poughkeepsie, taking on Villanova first, and then St. Francis Brooklyn. The baseball team continues their weekend against New Mexico State with a doubleheader against them, against the Aggies in that game. Track and field, we spoke to a couple of their athletes a couple of weeks ago. They'll be at the MAC Championships, day number 1 of that. Softball, 2 more games at the Ripley's Chanticleer Showdown in Conway, South Carolina. First up, taking on UMBC one more time, and then the host Coastal Carolina Chanticleers in the nightcap for them. Finally, Sunday, February 23rd, track and field program will be back at the MAC Championships for day number 2. Baseball wrapped up their weekend series against New Mexico State. Softball, one final game down in South Carolina, taking on Seton Hall again. And the women's basketball team hits the road. They look to slow down the country's leading scorers, Stella Johnson and Ryder. And that will do it for the upcoming week in Iona Athletics. For all the latest game times, information, and you could possibly want to know about the athletics program, check out our website, www.icgaels.com. You can also subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media. Search for our handle at @ICGales across all major platforms. We have a brand new episode of the Athletics Podcast coming next week. Until then, keep fighting the good fight, Gael Nation.
Fighting the